Maybe this has been you before. You release your newest song, it goes out, everybody can listen to it, but unfortunately only like 5 people listen to your song. If that's you and you have no idea why more people aren't listening to your music, then stay for today's episode. The wonderful world of streaming has brought so many beautiful and amazing things to our lives and a heck of a lot more music, but for us artists it has also brought many problems. But new problems require new solutions. So let's get this party started and let's see if we can finish this episode before I finish this pot of tea. Streaming has changed the way that we listen to music. It's created so many more opportunities for artists to be able to get their music out there, especially without the need of third parties. But it's also changed the way that people listen to music. It used to be that you had a buddy or somebody that told you about a band, or you saw them play live and you bought their album, or you went into the store and you bought the CD or the tape. But those days are long gone, y'all. People don't listen to music that way. Y'all, people don't want to spend $12 on a CD when they can pay $15.99 to get Spotify every month and have access to millions of songs. And I'm just going to put this out there for some of you guys that are hoping that it will go back to the way that it was. It's not going to. Listen, y'all, you can't go back and revisit the golden days. And often they're not as golden as we actually remember them. Time continues to march forward, and so must we. So let's talk a little bit about the streaming industry today. Like I said, there are millions of songs on Spotify, and there's just about the same on Apple Music or any of the other major retailers. This has caused something called market saturation. See, it used to be that there were a few artists that everybody listened to. Those artists had people backing them with lots of money to be able to make their albums, to get them on tour, to give them TV show appearances. And because they were part of a select few, they got so much more fame. They were huge, but far away is the time of mega superstars. The reality is there's too much music out now. And so people's attention is split. We still all have the same amount of time in our day to be able to enjoy recreational things like music. And so that leaves us with a problem because there's more music in the world to listen to than there is time to listen to it. You could be an amazing music artist and nobody could be listening to your songs because of market saturation. Now, at this point, there's not really much to do to fix that. It's just the nature of a market where people can put their goods out there for people to consume. And so if you want people to listen to your music, you got to stand out. You've got to find your edge. And listen, y'all, we've kind of talked about this before, but just putting out music is not going to cut it anymore. People need more than just a good song. They need to be able to buy into you as an artist. But it becomes even more complicated because all of these big artists of the yesteryears made lots and lots of money and they were able to make a living with their music. And that is not the reality for most of us today. And this is not helped by the fact that streaming payouts are very, very poor. If you're trying to get people to listen to your music so that you can get paid to do music full time, you're barking up the wrong tree more than likely. You've got to be in the millions and millions of spins to even be able to get somewhat of a substantial royalty check. Trust me, I know people. And even though they be getting millions and millions of people listening to their songs, it's still not a great payout. And this is a little bit of a problem because this causes a lack of incentive for artists to be able to put out great music. And not only that, but it may not even be possible for some people to put out music, which I'm not going to lie, that does limit the market, giving the rest of us a little more potential visibility. It's okay for there to be a pay to play, but nevertheless, we here at the Reimagine Entertainment podcast community never give up. And so how do we do that? I want to talk about this for a second. In this world of streaming and endless music, it's so important for you to be focused on your fans' experience. Number one, you should be making great music. Write music that resonates with you, that's real to you, and that resonates with other people. If you don't know if it resonates with other people, maybe you should let other people listen to your music. People that you know, people that you don't know, and you're going to be able to hear from them and hopefully get some honest feedback. Just don't get defensive, y'all. Because I don't know about y'all, but when people go to Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, and they've got their music in throughout their day, they're listening to music that's resonating with them in that moment, right? They're kind of like walking around with a soundtrack to their life. And so we want to be writing music that's real, that speaks to where people are at, that puts off a vibe that people want to listen to at different moments throughout their day. And then we got to hope that people like that enough that they come back and want to listen to it again. I definitely see this being a trend with younger generations. I mean, I'm kind of this way a little bit, but I also work with teens, and a lot of them are always listening to music. And so they really value this connection of listening to music that's really meeting them where they're at in that moment, at least for the most part. And so I want to give you guys just a little bit of advice that I've learned. Consistent releases are really important for retaining fans. People's attention span is way less than it used to be. And I don't mean that as an offense, but it's kind of just a reality. If you put out a song or an album or something, and then you wait for a whole year to put out another album, people are going to forget about you. Maybe eventually they'll remember, but we live in a world where people want that constant connection, right? And so by giving consistent releases, you are going to build that connection with your audience even more. And y'all, trust me, I understand how hard it is to get stuff out on a consistent schedule. I'm struggling with that as well, but I'm just telling you, it will make a difference. And guys, let's be totally honest. Like, yes, we are writing our songs, but it is also important to think about how the song is going to be received by your audience. Now, am I saying that we should sell out or just write music that other people want to hear all the time? Maybe not, but if your goal is to get people to listen to your music, you should at least think about what they want to hear. There's gotta be a balance. I've actually seen this trend a lot on social media where these bigger artists are actually putting out videos of them playing song ideas. It's not the whole song. It's like a verse, part of a verse, and a chorus or part of a chorus with an acoustic guitar or something like that. And they play it and they're like, well, what do you think about that? And they'll do a few ideas of songs that they're writing. And the one that gets the most focus, they run with that one first. Because guess what? It still costs money to make a song. It still costs time. And so why not focus your efforts on the songs that people are resonating with more, and then you can get to the other ones later if you so choose to. This is actually a strategy that we use in marketing all the time. Identifying what is resonating with the audience the most, running with that, leaving a little bit of resources for one of the other options, but not trying to spread your effort and money across multiple songs, especially if you don't know if they're going to work for your audience. And maybe you're not even sold on some of the songs, but you feel like you have to put them out because you need 12 songs in your album. Also, another amazing thing that this is going to do for you is your audience is going to feel like they are a part of the process. They're going to feel connected to you and your songwriting and your process, which is only going to get more views on that streaming platform. It is not a bad thing to use data to inform your decisions. That's just called wisdom. I understand that we're supposed to be super creative and all of that, but since when do we have to be creative and not use our brains? Why can't we do both? And actually, in today's day and age, with independent artists having to kind of take care of themselves, it's kind of necessary. You've got to learn how to be creative and also make informed decisions. And guys, I believe in you. I know that you can do it. And we've talked a little bit about this before as well. Use diverse income streams in order to fund your music. Don't wait for those royalty checks, because I'll tell you what, you're not going to probably see much come from that until you've got a lot of people listening to your music. And if you don't have money coming in to help you fund your music, in the meantime, you may not even be able to get to that point. Something that we haven't super talked about is stuff like sync licensing. And I think this is going to be a big thing in the future. Can we create music that's useful for video games, for films, for fitness shows, for whatever it is? Can we write music that other people are going to want to use in their entertainment products? This just expands ways that you can use your music to make money. And perhaps we can talk about that a little more some other day. I would love to learn more about sync licensing, and we can maybe do that together a bit. But one of the last little bits of advice I want to give you guys is we've got to change our mindset from how can my fans serve me? How can I get more people to be viewing me? How can I get more people to listen to my song? And we need to change our mindset to, how can I serve the people listening to my music? What can I do to help them more? Because let me tell you something, especially in the music industry as it is, it's so community driven. And so if you want to have people that are coming to you and wanting to listen to your music, then you've got to learn how to serve the people that you are giving music to. And just giving them a song to listen to is not good enough. If you're sitting there and you're like, man, why is nobody listening to my song? It may be because you have not built enough connections with the people that are listening to you or that could be listening to you. You may not have been really giving them enough value, and people can tell. And I'm just shooting straight with you guys, okay? Jesus says this thing, and I think it's really true. He who is servant of all is master of all. If you want people to follow you, you have got to learn how to be a servant to others. That will drastically change things. When people can see that you want to serve them and you want to benefit them and you want to add value to their life in a real way, something that they need, you will gain influence in their life. And this isn't about trying to rule the world. The focus should be on serving people and helping them where they're at. And you can do that with your music, and you can do that with yourself. You can embetter other people. You can encourage other people where they're at. We've all gone through stuff. We have all lived life. And I believe that your music can help people if you let it. But anyways, enough about that. I want to talk for just a few minutes on some innovations in the streaming industry that I would love to see. And some of these I've mentioned before inside of previous videos, but you know what? I figure let's talk about them. I'm going to put them out there for you guys to hear. And hey, if you think that they're interesting, put a comment down below so that we can talk about it. I would love that. Okay, number one, I would love to see a streaming platform that allows for local artist discovery. What do I mean by that? I would really like it if a streaming platform would actually be able to see the location of the person listening to the music, and that it would start recommending them local music artists, and it would let them know that they are local artists within their general area. Like, for example, I live in Colorado, and I would love it if on Spotify or Apple Music, when I go to listen to music, one of my playlists was local picks, and I could actually listen to artists that are in Colorado. Kind of seems like a no-brainer, right? What is this going to do for the streaming platform? Number one, it's going to boost engagement with their artists, and they rely on their artists. Now, maybe that's not their attitude. Maybe their attitude is, we've got enough artists on here and we don't really need any more, and so who cares? But this is only going to benefit them so that they can increase their business, right? By giving focus to local artists and really giving them an opportunity to connect with new potential listeners, there are going to be more people listening to music on the platform. And so I just think this is a no-brainer. I really, really, really wish that there was a streaming platform that did this. Hey, and maybe one of you could actually build that streaming platform. Who knows? Another thing I would love to see is more artist-centric payout models. Let's be a little logistical for a second here. The payouts are actually set by a rate that was put together a long time ago, and it hasn't been updated in a very long time. Now, am I saying the rate needs to be adjusted? I mean, maybe, but that's not the point of what I'm saying right now. In my ideal streaming platform, this new streaming platform would actually share more revenue with artists, incentivizing them to put out more music, incentivizing them to bring more people onto the streaming platform. And when you get your artists on board to get people to listen to them and drive more people onto the platform, all of a sudden the platform is going to make more money. And so there should be a little more sharing on that basis, right? Maybe some bonuses or stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I do think that could help artists to be more incentivized to create music consistently, put it out there, get people listening to it on these platforms, and the platforms only have more money to make based off of all of this. And one of the last things that I would really like to see more of, because this is already kind of a thing, is AI curation of music. And this is just going to improve the experience for people listening on the platforms. And also, in my ideal world, it would also increase discoverability of artists that fit their profile of what they like to listen to. Now, I have an AI DJ that I listen to all the time on Spotify, and I love it. It's not perfect all the time. I skip a lot of music, but I love that I can put that on there and it leads me through a playlist. It changes things up every once in a while. It introduces me to new artists. I love it. And I would really like to see more of that. And I would love for the bots to get more intelligent when it comes to what I like to listen to. But those are just some things that I would love to see on a streaming platform sometime in the future. And so listen, guys, I want to encourage you, keep writing music. Listen, the future is bright for those of us that take the time and energy to be able to do what we need to do to get our music out there. But that takes us adapting and changing and engaging with our fans. The world is constantly changing and there's no going back to the way that it was. We can try, but it's going to be a failed attempt. We've got to keep moving forward and adapting and changing. And listen, we can overcome. We can overcome the obstacles in front of us. You can do it. I know you can. All you got to do is figure out a plan and you've got to stick to it and you've got to move forward. Put out songs consistently as you can, whether that's every other month or whatever it is. Find a consistent schedule and put out music. And then connect with your audience. Go on to social media. Use the tools that are available to you so that you can engage with people. Because guess what? If you put out a song and you're wondering why nobody's listening to it, it's because you haven't told anybody that there's a song for them to listen to. And number one, they're not going to find it. Number two, they're not going to care about it. But if you help them to care about you, and if you show them that you care about them, all of a sudden, they're going to have a vested interest in actually listening to your music. Who knows? You may have like a super fan that comes out of it, and their life would have not been the same if they would not have found your music. And they would not have found your music if they didn't find you. And so guys, let's not give up. Let's keep moving forward. I know that the world has changed with all of this streaming and everything, but listen, we can adapt, we can change. The industry is changing, and we've just got to continue to move forward if we want to see people connecting with us and connecting with our music. And guys, if you are struggling with writing music, if you've got writer's block like nobody's tomorrow, I want to be your main man to help you out. I'm going to be doing a free webinar here in the near future talking about how you can overcome writer's block through changing your mentality and changing your mindset, and also looking at how we can use some tools like AI to really supercharge and boost our creativity so that we can smash writer's block. If that sounds interesting to you, then I want you all to comment smash down in the comments, and I'll let you guys know when we have that free webinar opening up so that you can be a part of that, because I really want to help you guys write the music that you so desire to write and be creative in the ways that you want to be creative so that you can put music out that people love. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me today at Reimagine Entertainment. I'm Josiah Wright, but until next time, keep creating, friends.